Ever pondered why someone would willingly lay down their life for another, especially for those who might not even deserve it? It's a question that has intrigued mankind for centuries, and yet we find an answer in the beautiful narrative of Christianity. Here, we discover the profound concept of sacrifice, a selfless act of giving up something valuable for the sake of someone else. In the heart of this narrative is an astounding verse from Romans, chapter 5, verses 6 to 8. It tells us of a love so deep and so encompassing that it led to the ultimate sacrifice. For when we were yet without strength, in due time Christ died for the ungodly. Pause for a moment and let those words sink in. The ungodly, those who might not deserve it, those who failed, those who strayed. For them, Christ died. But why? What drove this act of supreme sacrifice? The answer lies in the very nature of God's love, a love that is not based on our worthiness, but on His character. A love that sees beyond our flaws and reaches out to us in our most vulnerable state. A love that chose to give the most precious gift, His own Son, Jesus Christ, for our redemption. God commendeth His love toward us in that, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Just imagine the depth of that love. It is a love that chose to die for us, not when we were at our best, but when we were at our worst. In the grand scheme of things, this act of sacrifice was not just an act of love, but also an act of redemption. A divine plot twist that turned the tables on sin and death. A sacrifice that bridged the chasm between humanity and divinity. A love story that continues to unfold, even in our lives today. So as we delve deeper into this narrative, let's remember the ultimate sacrifice and the unparalleled love that made it possible. How does redemption play into this narrative of sacrifice? A question that paves the way to understanding the profound depth of the message in Romans 5:9-11. These verses delve into the heart of redemption, a concept that's as transformative as it is liberating. In its essence, redemption is about being saved from wrath through Jesus' sacrifice. It's about how, in our weakest moments when we were still sinners, Christ chose to die for us. This act was not just a demonstration of supreme love, but it was also the ultimate sacrifice that opened the door for humanity's redemption. But what does this redemption truly mean for us? It's not merely about being saved from punishment, it's about reconciliation. It's about how we, once enemies of God through the death of His Son, have been reconciled back to Him. It's about the transformation from being estranged to becoming beloved children of God. Imagine, if you will, the vast chasm that once existed between humanity and God due to sin. Now envision a bridge, built with the planks of sacrifice and the nails of love spanning this chasm. This bridge is Jesus Christ, and through Him we cross from enmity to love, from alienation to reconciliation. Redemption is powerful. It doesn't just change our status, it changes our identity. It doesn't just save us from wrath, it brings us into a relationship of love and fellowship with our Creator. This is the power of redemption. It's transformative, it's restorative, and it's all made possible because of Jesus' sacrifice. Redemption is not a transaction, it's a transformation. It's not a verdict, it's a victory. It's not an end, it's a beginning. It's not just about being saved from something, it's about being saved for something. A purposeful life in loving union with our Creator. Redemption, therefore, is not just about being saved from punishment, but about being brought back into a loving relationship with our Creator. This is the power of redemption, and this is the heart of the Easter message. How did sin make its grand entrance into the world, and why does it matter? To answer this question, we turn to the book of Romans, specifically chapter 5, verses 12-14. Here we find the Apostle Paul explaining that sin entered the world through one man, Adam. With sin came the consequence of death, a consequence that has passed on to all mankind. Now let's try to visualize this. Think of a crystal clear stream, pure and teeming with life. Suddenly, a drop of poison falls into it. The effect is not immediate, but slowly the poison spreads, contaminating the entire stream, bringing death in its wake. That's an analogy of what happened when sin entered the world. It started with one man, but it spread to all, bringing death to everyone. But it's interesting to note that Paul mentions a period, from Adam to Moses, where death reigned, even over those who had not sinned like Adam did. You might wonder, how could this be? How could death reign where there was no law being broken? This is where we start to see the depth of sin's impact. Sin is more than just breaking a rule, it's about breaking a relationship. When Adam sinned, it wasn't just about eating a forbidden fruit. It was about choosing self over God, about asserting his own will over God's. That choice, that break in relationship with God, is what we inherited. A predisposition to assert our own will over God's, to choose self over God. So why does this matter? Because understanding the depth of our sin helps us understand the magnitude of God's love and grace. It's only when we realize how far we've strayed, how broken our relationship with God is, that we can begin to appreciate the magnitude of Christ's sacrifice, the ultimate act of love that bridges that gap and restores our relationship with God. Sin, thus, is not just about breaking a law, but about breaking a relationship with God. So how does God respond to this broken relationship and the reign of death caused by sin? You may ask. The answer, my friends, lies in a simple yet profound word: grace. In the book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 15, we are offered a profound insight into this divine response. This verse articulates the reality of God's free gift of grace through Jesus Christ. It's a gift that outshines the darkness of sin, a gift that breathes life where there was death, and a gift that mends what was once broken. Here, the Apostle Paul compares and contrasts the offense of one man, Adam, with the free gift offered by another, Jesus Christ. The offense of Adam brought sin and death into the world. It was a chain reaction, a domino effect that impacted all of humanity. However, this is not the end of the story. No, not at all. In the midst of this bleak picture, we see the grace of God break through like a beacon of hope. This grace, the gift that comes through Jesus Christ, is much more powerful than the offense of sin. It's like comparing a single drop of water to a vast ocean, or a flickering candle to the radiant sun. The magnitude of God's grace eclipses the offense of sin. This grace brings life. It breathes into the lifeless and stirs up a new creation. It brings reconciliation, mending the broken relationship between God and humanity caused by sin. This grace is not a passive response, but an active, powerful, transformative force that changes the course of history and the destiny of humanity. In light of all this, what then is the heart of Easter? Let's take a step back and reflect on our journey so far. We've explored the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ, a sacrifice so profound that it epitomizes the depth of God's love for us, a love so vast that it willingly bore the weight of humanity's sins, taking our place on the cross. This is the first thread that weaves into the heart of Easter. Then we delved into the power of redemption, a transformative process that allows us to break free from the chains of sin. Through Christ's death and resurrection, we are redeemed, our past mistakes washed away, giving us a fresh start. This is the second thread in our Easter tapestry. We also grappled with the entrance of sin into the world, a cataclysmic event that forever altered the course of humanity. Yet even in sin's shadow, the promise of redemption shines bright, a beacon of hope for every soul. This is the third thread that intertwines into the Easter narrative. And finally, we unpack the free gift of grace. Grace, the divine assistance given to us by God, not because of what we have done, but because of who He is. Grace that enables us to overcome, to thrive, and to truly live. This is the fourth and final thread that completes the fabric of Easter. These four threads, the ultimate sacrifice, the power of redemption, the problem of sin, and the gift of grace, intertwine to form the heart of Easter. They paint a picture of a God who loves us so deeply that He would go to unimaginable lengths to reconcile us back to Him. Easter, thus, is not just about the death and resurrection of Jesus, but about God's grand plan to reconcile us back to Him through sacrifice and grace. The heart of Easter, therefore, is a celebration of this incredible love story between God and humanity, a story that continues to unfold in our lives every day.